I did send out this morning, and I'm going to share on the screen now our document, 5 Things Wish That All Rotarians Knew and Believed. You're going to see that come up, or you're going to see and hear that come up in some of my comments, as well as another presentation later. But I've got it on the screen if you didn't print it out, because I'm going to talk, sort of give an overview of the district membership chair position. Now, it's worth noting that in our zone, of the 17 district membership or districts, 10 of the 17 have new district membership chairs. So over half of our districts have new membership chairs. And all 17 of our districts are going to have new governors starting July 1. So part of what this series of 1-hour sessions is designed to do is to try to fast forward to help you understand the challenges of membership, which are very real, and to understand them as well as you can on July 1, rather than getting to June 30 and saying, oh, boy, I wish I had known that a year ago. Because most of us who have served as membership chairs or as governors have had that experience of, wow, I wish I had fully understood. Membership is a challenge. And as you see in the shared screen there, from our standpoint, nothing else matters. Membership is job one. And if we don't get membership right, we make everything else more challenging. If we get membership right, we make everything else easier. We have more impact when we're growing as members. We have more energy. We're more attractive clubs. Our foundation giving should be more robust with a bigger donor base. All the things that we're trying to do, create networking and social opportunities, all of those get better when we have a more robust membership. So I'm not going to dive too deep on these 5, because you are going to hear some more about them. But it's important that those of you who are DMCs understand you are leading the most important area of Rotary in your district. There's nothing more important right now. I encourage you to take a very honest assessment of your district. Take a fresh look, take an honest look of where your district is on membership. And if you look at the numbers, looking over the last 3 to 4 years, with the possible exception of one district, we'll see how they finish out this year, your district is down in members from where it was 3 to 4 years ago. Now, you're not alone. This has been happening across North America and in some other parts of the world, but it does reinforce the challenge that we have in membership. Now, within your specific district, that honest assessment is going to include a look at some other factors that we'll be covering over the next few weeks, and some things that only you are going to have the insights on as the local leader and expert. But one of the parts of that honest assessment is you have to acknowledge that attrition is real. You are going to lose members during 2020-21. It's going to happen. And in fact, we can tell you with alarming accuracy that it's going to be around 14%. We find that that's a very consistent number. And if you don't plan for that amount of attrition next year, and to exceed that much in the attraction rate, or the number of members that you're bringing in, the percentage that you're bringing in, then you're setting yourself up for a year of a net membership loss. So go in being honest about the fact that you're going to lose members, you're going to experience attrition, and that it's absolutely essential that everything you do is geared toward bringing in more members than you're going to lose. Now, retention is important. There's no question that retention is important, but at least in the short term, putting to the side some of the health crisis that we're dealing with, because that's a special retention issue. Retention takes a little bit of a secondary role to the attraction piece, and the reason we say that, as Terry Weaver has said and probably will say, I'll steal this one little piece of thunder, you cannot retain your way into growth. That will not be enough to grow your district. Retention will become more important as you attract more members, because we know that members in their first 2 to 3 years are at significant risk. So it's that becomes more important. But Retention is more of a long-term project. Most of our focus will be on attracting new members. Building a membership growth culture is essential. And one of the reasons I'm glad that we have future governors here on the line with your DMCs is that you need a unified message. The DMC has responsibility for membership, but the governor needs to reinforce that message at every point. Anytime the governor has the microphone, which, let's face it, will be more than any of us wants, but the governor's going to get the mic a lot. Membership needs to be a part of that message. It is the most important thing that we're working on in Rotary, and reinforcing that message will be important. Building that membership growth culture in your district, in your clubs, is critical. Most of us come from districts where Rotary Foundation is in our DNA to some extent. In some districts, it's their primary calling card. We want membership to have the same type of focus, because again, when we are growing in membership, we're going to help that Rotary Foundation piece as well. You will not have membership success by accident. It won't happen just in the natural course of events. You're going to have to be very intentional about your strategies and your tactics to produce good membership results. You're going to have to develop a plan. You're going to have to work that plan. Doesn't mean you won't maybe have a zig and a zag here to tweak the plan, but it's going to be essential to have a plan and to work it, and to be very intentional about what you're trying to accomplish. Specific asks are important. When I'm in an audience and a person says to the 50 of us in the audience, we all need to be concerned about membership, there's no personal responsibility for me that I feel. That kind of washes over the room and everybody walks out hearing it, but feeling no personal responsibility. When I get a call from my governor that says, we've got to be tuned into membership and I need you to do X, Y, Z, I leave that call knowing I'm responsible for X, Y, Z. When a membership chair gets in touch with a club president, says, hey, I want to support you. I want to work with you on X, Y, Z. Here's how we're going to do it. That's going to have a much better impact than just broad platitudes. Building a membership team, absolutely essential. As a membership chair, you cannot do this alone. Linda and Cherie, we were talking about this earlier, they have 83 clubs. Some of your districts are as small as 40 clubs or so, but even 40 clubs is way too much for one person to give the kind of attention that membership deserves. So build out a team. Some of you have membership advocates in each area. Some of you have assistant governors who are staged year 1, year 2, year 3, or one of those years they focus on membership. You need people on the ground. You need specialists when a club says, hey, I'm interested in a satellite club. You might take that one area, but you don't want to take multiple areas where you're also the specialist for rescuing a club that's in trouble, and you're trying to do satellite clubs, and you're trying to write newsletter articles. So please build and recruit a team. You're going to hear a little bit more about that today, so I'm not going to go too deep on that. Part of your leadership position is communication. In fact, a big part of your leadership role is communication. The way you communicate with people one-on-one, the way you communicate when you're in front of a group, the way you communicate if you write a newsletter article, all of the ways that you communicate are going to be essential that you build your messaging, you reinforce that messaging, you hit it over and over and over repetitively. You can repackage it, but that you're still repetitively hitting the message so that it gets through to people. I came up as a Rotary Foundation kind of specialist person in my early Rotary days, and I had to hear that stuff 3 and 4 and 5 times for it to register. Terry Weaver probably said to me to use the term attrition 3 or 4 or 5 times before I stopped talking about resignations and things like that. Attrition is a better way to frame that because it helps us understand the percentage that we're losing. It had to hit me several times where I absorbed it and retained it. Make your messaging very specific, make it repetitive, keep hitting it. It's going to be a key part of your success. So that's as far as I'm going to go right now, because I want to maintain the time that we have allotted for our two other speakers today. Two of our assistant Rotary